Well, Afzal Ashraf is a counter-terrorism expert who served as a senior officer in the British Royal Air Force, and he joins us now from London. Thank you very much for joining us. Daesh, they've been driven out of al-Bab, but this battle for Mosul appears to be entering a decisive phase. Is this a turning point in the fight against Daesh or ISIS?
It could be. We can't be certain about anything in this conflict, but certainly once they are removed from eastern Mosul, then they have lost the city in which al-Baghdadi declared himself a caliph and declared the caliphate. And that's hugely symbolic, both in symbolic terms, but also physically. They will have lost one of the largest cities under their control. So all of that, I think, will send out a very powerful message to Daesh, but also to the Iraqi forces, the coalition forces, and across the border in Syria too, all of those that are fighting these extremists.
And does the importance of that symbolism that you talk about mean that the last remnants who are still fighting are going to be even more determined to resist the forces against them?
Yes, they have no choice but to put up a resistance. What they will be doing in great number is throwing some of their young and less able people into suicide vehicles, using those suicide vehicles to cause havoc and mayhem, particularly whenever they can unarmed target civilians. And they will leave behind a lot of booby traps, improvised explosive devices, roadside bombs, and so on. So they will be doing everything they can because they have nothing left in terms of advancing, and so they have to use up their weapons and their people to try and slow down their defeat, and in the hope that somehow in the process the coalition forces, the Iraqi forces stumble, and then they can have time to regroup and perhaps resurge somewhere. They will certainly try a counterattack. That's their standard procedure.
And of course, even when they're driven out of Mosul, they've still got this self-proclaimed capital in Raqqa. That's going to be a really difficult one, isn't it, for the other forces to get hold of?
It will be difficult. Mosul has been very difficult, and I think the Iraqi army has been wise not to rush in there, risking the lives of the many thousands of civilians that are still in the city. I think in Raqqa too, they'll have to adopt a similar approach. Of course, the Raqqa recovery will have to be done primarily by the Assad regime army, assisted, I think, by Russian Air Force jets, and possibly even Iraqi Air Force. We've had one of the first official coordinated attacks into Syria by the Iraqi Air Force. And of course, it was coordinated between the governments in Baghdad and Damascus. So I think we may well see a great deal more effort. And if the Turkish army can help the Assad regime to remove the forces in Raqqa, then that too will be a great assistance, and it will make a big and very significant difference.
Afzal Ashraf, thank you very much indeed for joining us.